So, welcome along to number 42 in my series of Pixiecast, and I am over in Massachusetts, right in the backyard of where Pixies originated from, and I am talking to James Sykes. Hi, James, how are you?
Good, yourself?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. So, tell me a little bit about where you are, near where the Pixies originated from.
Yeah, so I live in Greenfield. I've lived here all my life. Of course, the Pixies, they originated in Amherst, about 25 minutes away from here. And when they first started, I know it was Frank and Joey. They got together. They were working in a factory together, and I guess they started playing the music together in their free time. And they put an ad out for Kim, or put an ad out for a drummer and bassist. And I guess that's how Dave and Kim got together with them. So, and then rest is history, I guess. But
Uh-huh. Yeah, I believe Kelly, Kim's sister, she was interested in becoming the drummer as well, wasn't she, at that stage?
I hmm, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I think she sort of started out primarily as a drummer, but obviously she's a sort of multi-instrumentalist. But yeah, I think she was interested in becoming drummer, but obviously they've got that position. So
Hmm.
so what do you do where you are over there?
So I attend a technical community college
Hmm.
now. I'm going to learn HVAC, or I'm in the process of learning it, and I just started this semester. I have about another year or so left in that program, and it's a pretty heavy course load. So I've been keeping fairly busy with that, and listening to Pixies while I study, of course. But
Yeah.
you know,
So what is HBSC for those who
so
don't know, like me?
HVAC is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. It with refrigeration mixed in, of course, too. It's a
Uh-huh.
fairly good uh, field to get into,
Okay.
or so I've been told. Um, but yeah, it's pretty interesting, and hopefully things materialize once I uh, graduate from the program as well.
Sure. Uh-huh. And you've got about another year or so to go, you reckon?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh. And then what, straight out into the world of work, is it, and to earn some money?
Yep. I guess
Uh-huh.
that's how it works.
Yeah.
Yep.
So tell me about Pixies then. How long have you been into the band, and how did you get into them?
So I about 2 years ago, I gotten out of a relationship with somebody, and I was fairly into music then, but I didn't know music well. Like
Hmm.
I knew songs from like Pulp Fiction, like I knew a little bit of Dusty Springfield, this, that, and whatever, but I haven't really dug deep enough into music, and this person had kind of gotten me into that. So when I first heard the Pixies, I heard that I heard not where is your mind? Where's my mind?
Yeah.
I heard "Here Comes Your Man" on The Simpsons this
Uh-huh.
one time, and I thought, well, that's a pretty catchy song. I thought it was from like 1965, and then when I went to go look up that song, because I guess I found myself like humming it one day, and I'm like, oh, I want to go listen to this, and it's
Okay.
like I found out it's 30 years younger than I originally thought, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of into this. When I first heard the Pixies' two biggest songs, "Where Is My Mind" and "Here Comes Your Man," of course, I was really into them. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to dig a bit deeper into this. And when I first heard like "Gouge Away," which like I feel like if you're going to listen to the Pixies or discover the Pixies, I feel like you need to take those steps, like, okay, listen to this one, then that one, because I find that a lot of their songs are an acquired taste. And like, so when I first heard them, I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. Eh, Now hold on, wait.
Uh,
I, I, I hated them at first,
Okay.
but I, a couple days later, I find myself like what was that song I heard the other day? It went, "Na, na, na," and then I went back and listened to it again, and I'm like, hey, this is actually not bad. And like the more that you listen to it, like the more appreciation you have for it. Like you have to kind of understand where Frank is coming from that era, I guess you could say. Um, that's just how I feel about it.
Sure. Okay. So really, the stuff off Doolittle then was is what you first got into then in terms of their music.
Yeah. Um, I think the first album I listened to was Bossa Nova.
Okay.
Or no, it wasn't even that. Like I was like such a rookie. Like I was like looking up like best of the Pixies. So like Gouge Away came on, Monkey Gone to Heaven, all that, like the radio stuff.
Yeah.
And I got deeper and deeper into it, and I started discovering um like Joy Division, and around that time too. Uh Talking Heads I got pretty heavy into. Good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So so did you then go back afterwards when you first started getting into them? Did you go back to Come on Pilgrim and Surfer Rosa?
Um, I Not really. I was just watching like a lot of their older live shows when they were playing in Boston, and like a lot of old recordings. And from there, I learned that Kim had her own band, the Breeders, and I was into them too, more so than Frank's solo career. Or well, I was more into Kim's solo career than Frank's solo career, I guess you could say. But
Yeah.
Kim didn't have so much a solo career because she went and started another band pretty much. I guess the Amps too. I say the Amps are pretty solid as well. Some like that's another album I listened to. I forgot the name of it, but it has Pacer and Breaking the Split Screen Barrier or whatever, and I thought that was pretty solid too as well. So yeah.
So and what about your friends at the time in that when you got into Pixies? Were they into the band as well, or?
Oh God, no.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody around here. Oh, well, I wouldn't say everybody, but most people don't really care about the Pixies here, and or at least in my town. And
Okay.
they know of the Pixies because of Fight Club and maybe a couple of their other popular tracks. But yeah, they're not fans per se like I am. Like when I first got into them, I was such a nerd, and I was like trying to like push all this onto other people. Like, hey, you should listen to this. Hey, you should listen to that. They're like, yeah, no. And I think part of that is like because like when I first heard those songs, I didn't like them either. So like I don't know. Maybe if they listen to them more, maybe they might like them themselves. So
Sure. So what sort of music were your friends listening to at the time then?
like a lot of like the mainstream stuff, like I don't like it's really a mixed bag. Like they like a lot of like the new hip hop, Beatles. I mean, I can't fault them for that. I mean, Beatles are great, but it's all the mainstream stuff. I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. So you're pretty much on your own then when you first started getting into Pixies. Not
Pretty
really,
much.
not many friends to share them with though, but you still continued with them, and obviously still love them to this day. So what year was that then that you sort of got into them? Where were they in their career at that stage?
I like mid 2018. So
Okay.
yeah, about a year before Beneath Diary came out.
Sure.
And then
Okay.
when I first got back to Facebook, because I was like in a period where, I had just taken a sabbatical from social media. I came back and I was like, all right, well, I don't have any friends who like the Pixies. Maybe there are other people out there who do that we can, I don't know, share knowledge and experiences with. So I just randomly typed in the Pixies fan group or something. And I was like, from there, I was like, I was set. It's great.
Cool. So you feel like you found your spiritual home then on Facebook?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I found my home.
Yeah. Absolutely. So relatively recent then 2018. So just like a couple of years that you've really been into the band. But clearly they've become very quickly a big part of your life.
They absolutely have. Yep,
Yeah.
as you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have a lot of T-shirts and that, or is that just that one?
It's this one, and I have the green. There's like a green one. It doesn't look very good. Like, I don't really like the color scheme, but it has the
Okay.
Pixies on it, so of course I'm gonna wear it.
Sure.
But yeah,
And the posters and that as well. Are you into the posters?
I am, but I actually don't have any.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I do
Yeah.
have. I do have their best of album somewhere up there on my wall, but
Okay.
that other than that, not a whole lot of stuff.
Okay. So from the from sort of listening to the Doolittle stuff and that, and then you said Bossa Nova. Would you say Bossa Nova is your favorite album of theirs?
See, that's tough. Bossa Nova was my favorite for a while. And then I went back and listened to Trompe le Monde. I hope I'm not butchering that, but Trompe le Monde or Trompe le
Trompe le
Monde?
Monde, yeah.
Trompe le Monde.
Well, I think
And
speaking to you guys in the States, you seem to pronounce it Trump more than Trump. But
oh god.
anyway,
Hmm.
maybe that's just because of your current president. Maybe you're
Yeah,
just used to saying Trump a lot. So I don't know.
perhaps, yeah. But yeah, I would say that's I loved Bossa Nova for a while. I still do. It was my favorite for a while, and because it consists of like most of a few of the songs on there are about people being abducted by aliens, and I'm absolutely into that. But then I went back and I listened to Trompe le Monde, and I'm like, oh, this is tough. This is like a fairly close knit battle. So I would have to say Trompe le Monde would have to be my favorite at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a favorite track from all their stuff that they've released?
Letter to Memphis would probably be my favorite off of that one. If we're talking Bossa Nova, I would have to say Valoria.
Okay. If you had to choose between those two, between Letter to Memphis and Valoria?
Oh man. I would go with Letter to Memphis. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great track. That would certainly be my favourite off Trompe le Monde, but Valoria is my favourite track of theirs, sort of throughout their career. So yeah,
Nice,
cool. And what about the Frank Black solo career? Obviously, you've spoken a little bit about Kim Deal and Breeders and the Amps and that. So what about Frank's solo career? Do you like that stuff?
I do like Frank's solo career. I felt like he was really able to get as experimental as he wanted. I can hear that in his music. I feel like he really had a whole lot. I feel like he had a lot of ideas that he presented to Kim, because I know that they had like a feud more towards the end before they split up the first time, or actually last time, I should say.
Yeah.
But when he Teenager of the Year, I feel like is a very solid album. It's like I forgot my thought, but
okay.
Like
when
you
listen, Teenager of the Year.
Yeah. I feel like songs like Fiddle Riddle and he really they aren't like these boring songs where he just plays two chords, and it's not like that's a bad thing at all ever, but it's he's really like all over the place, I guess you could say. Like he's it feels like he's putting like 4 different songs into one, and I feel like, well, a lot of Pixie songs are like that as well, and I find that the most interesting thing about it. Like he's just, it's almost as if he can't decide as to what he wants the song to sound like, so he just throws all of it together. But yeah,
there's a real mixture of styles in that, isn't there, on Teenager
absolutely.
of the Year, certainly. Yeah.
Yep. And pretty solid album. Love it.
Would you have a favorite track of Teenager of the Year then?
Like Ole Mulholland. Abstract Plane is fine. Oh gosh, I can't remember all of them, but
it's okay. There's a lot to remember.
Yeah. Overall, it's great. It's such a solid album.
Okay.
I know Joey, he in his solo career, he went off and he produced a lot of music for other people, right? He
Yeah.
did he was putting bread on the table that way, which was interesting. I
Uh-huh.
thought he would like go off and join some other band. Maybe he did, but I'm glad that he was able to find, some side work while the other band members were sorting their shit out. And,
Yeah, and well, he also did carry on recording as well with Frank Black as well on a lot of his stuff as well. So
ah,
he's credited as playing on those albums, and I think they played live together as well, actually, quite a few times
huh.
when Frank was out touring before the Catholics and what have you. So, what about yourself? Are you a musician? Do you play any instruments at all?
Well, I've tried. I've been like on and off guitar for quite a few years now. I was never really able to fully commit to that. Like I know like the basic, excuse me, the basic chords and
Sure.
whatnot, but I was never really, I never really got too far into that. Piano, I'm starting to learn that. Um, I've got all these instruments I don't know how to play. So
Uh-huh.
hopefully someday I figure it out and
Yeah, yeah.
get to that.
Uh-huh.
Because I mean I would like to produce my own music as well, but as
Okay.
like a side thing. But
Sure. Yeah, yeah. So now that you're getting more and more into music, you said you're sort of quite late getting into music now. What other sort of stuff are you listening to as well as Pixies?
I recently discovered a jazz musician known as he's a Rio Fukui. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
Uh, I hope that's how you pronounce it. But
Uh-huh.
he's excellent, and
Yeah.
I find that it's really good driving music and really good studying music. Um, when I around the time I was really discovering Pixies, I was discovering the Talking Heads as well.
Mm-hmm.
And people, like
Yeah.
most people, just know them for like burning down the house, which
Yeah.
is, hey,
And Road
that's
to
a great
Nowhere. Yeah.
song,
Yeah. Yeah.
great song.
Yeah.
But they have like when you really dive in, when you really dig deep enough, like you find that like that song is like lower
Yeah.
tier. Like when you listen to Speaking in Tongues, their '83 album,
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot more. I mean, this is more subjective than objective. I mean, people may not feel the same way, but um, there are songs like "A Girlfriend Is Better" and "Two Note Swivel" off of that album that are far superior to "Burning Down the House."
Mm-hmm.
And "Remain in Light" is such a solid album.
Yeah.
"Theater of Music," excellent stuff.
Uh-huh.
Excellent.
So
Joy Division. Sorry.
that's right. Yeah. Joy Division. Yeah. Yeah. Carry
Hmm.
on. Good English band.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I read Ian's the widow of Ian Curtis's book because she just recently released a book on Ian, and you really discover like what was going through Ian. Well, I mean, who knows what was really going through Ian's mind at the time,
Yeah.
but you get more of an idea that like after Unknown Pleasures was released, Ian didn't want to do anything else, but the record company was basically forcing him to do more
Mm-hmm.
music that he
Yeah.
didn't want to do,
Yeah.
and it was it's just a really sad story, but it's a really interesting book. It's called Touching from a Distance. It's
Uh-huh.
well worth the read, even
Yeah.
fan or
Sure.
not. Fan,
Very, very sad story, obviously, and he was in a bad place, wasn't he, at the time,
yeah.
and we all know how that ended. So Pixies and the newer stuff when they got back together. Have you been listening to sort of Indie Cindy and Beneath the Eerie, obviously, and the other album that Head Carrier, that's the one.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
the one. Have you been listening to those albums as well?
Um. Yeah, I feel like Indie Cindy isn't, or Head Carrier isn't quite as bad as people say it is. I definitely feel as if it's probably their worst album. I hate to say it, but I feel like it's inferior to the others. Indie Cindy was fairly solid. And then a lot of people, when Irie was released last September, a lot of people were disappointed. They were complaining about it being like compressed and, it just didn't really have the right sound, I guess. And, I feel like I sort of feel the same way, but the music itself is so good. And it's just, I feel like this record doesn't really do it a whole lot of justice. It's not that it's bad, but when you listen to like their live performances of those songs, they're incredible.
Yeah.
And just, this album, it kind of takes away from that in some way. I'm just not sure how. I don't know what it was there, but it's just, I don't know. But Head Carrier, I know I'm kind of all over the place right now, but Head Carrier wasn't really, I wouldn't say it was good, but it wasn't bad,
Okay.
It was just.
Do you think it's one of those where the tracks are better played live than maybe recorded? Are you more into the live sound?
I feel that way about all of their songs, to be honest with you. But, Head Carrier, the song Head Carrier off of the album is honestly, in my opinion, probably the best one off that. But
okay.
Yeah.
And Beneath the Eyrie is very, very different sound, I think, to a lot of their previous stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like the Pixies, they're so good, and this may not make any sense whatsoever, but they're so good at making new music that sounds like their old stuff while also sounding like
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
like it's with the times. I would say, but when you look at their old stuff too, like when you look at Here Comes Your Man, that was released in like 86, 87, something like that. And you would think that song is like, I know that I thought it was older, but when they first hopped onto the scene in the 80s weren't ready for them. Nobody was ready for the Pixies, and they just came crashing onto the scene and they killed it. I mean, they were great, and they say they still are.
Yeah. And you've not been able to see them live as yet. I know you had an opportunity, but you weren't able to take it. So you'll be looking forward to them getting back on the road again once lockdown and COVID is sorted out.
Absolutely. The Breeders as well. I've been hoping that they would do like a USA tour. I don't think they did in 2018 or 19, but they've been all over the world. I noticed that they were in Australia last year and doing this, that, and whatever, and that's great. But I want them to come here, and I'm going to take the first opportunity I get to see them.
And would they normally play somewhere near to where you live, or would you have to travel quite a distance?
I'm not sure. I would think that they would probably play in Boston. But if they do, I'm going to make plans to see them for sure, even if I have to jump through fire to get there. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Boston, you said it's about a three-hour journey for you?
Yeah, about 2.5, 3 hours.
Okay.
I'm not like much of a driver, but sure. I would do it for them.
You'll get there somehow.
Oh yeah. I'll find a way.
What about the new single? Have you heard the new single yet?
I actually have not.
Okay.
I saw that the other day and I completely forgot about it already, but or almost immediately after. But I'm gonna put that on my to-do list.
Yeah.
What do you think of it? Was it?
Yeah, it's good. I like it. So it's called Hear Me Out, and you can find it on YouTube. They've got the video for it. The video's got Paz in it, and she co-wrote it with Charles, and she sings lead vocals on it as well. So so it's different to a lot of their stuff, obviously, but no, it's good. It's certainly got that Pixies sound to it with Joey's guitar and everything, and certainly worth checking out. So,
All right. Well, I'm gonna definitely do that.
Yeah. So so get onto YouTube and have a listen. So and maybe we'll start hearing some more stuff from Paz as well, and she'll be singing lead on more of their stuff as they go on.
Sure.
So anyway, James, it's been great to speak to you. Thank you very much for your time. And I kind of envy you, really, that you're only a couple of years into your love of Pixies, because you've got a lot to go back and listen to and learn to love as well. So you're a lucky man.
All right. Yeah, it was good speaking to you as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks for your time, James. All the best. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.